Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
All right, I got a new drug for you. It's a Friday football weekend. I'll say this. Hays Carlyon, who hails from the Bowl School, former lead waiter, server, dishwasher at the Moss Pit.
That's right. Spick and span.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. I bet you were a good dishwasher.
No, I actually was bad at that.
Right.
I didn't ever have to do it there, but I did have restaurant jobs where I was like the kind of the bus boy.
Yeah.
And I did it for about like 3 weeks and was
no
like,
good.
I can't do this.
I see, JJ. I see Carlyon with the steel wool. I think you give Carlyon a little steel wool. Yeah. I think he's got. You don't think so, JJ? What do you think? I'm surprised he wasn't good at that.
What about at home?
I will say this. I prefer to be the one that unloads the dishwasher at home because when Gene does it, it's just a fiasco. I mean, it's just
right.
Yeah, I mean, spoons aren't where they should be. And I mean, it's like she just sort of dumps it all in.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that's one thing that I am kind of like meticulous about. I like the dishes and silverware to sort of be put away a certain way. So that is one chore that like I don't mind doing. Yeah. Because I don't like when it's done improperly.
Yeah, I the years run together.
And now you're learning why I'm so impossible to live with.
Yeah, the years run together, but I think I washed the dish in 97.
Yeah, I don't
somewhere
often.
Thereabouts.
Well, this
97, 98.
Yeah.
It was kind of a fuzzy time.
Yeah,
early in the marriage, 6, 7
I
years
am pretty good about also pre-washing.
Yeah. That thing's clean.
Like, I guess I'll just go ahead and throw Gene completely under the bus for this first segment. So Gene's not big on like pre-washing. Like she'll have like lasagna on a plate or something.
That's terrorism.
And then she'll just put the plate like in the dishwasher.
That's not right.
Okay.
But so you gotta you gotta rinse it.
But my wife contends you don't have to rinse it. I'm a rinser
Where
too.
does it go though? It goes on all the other stuff.
And then then the lines get clogged and you have a problem.
Okay.
So you gotta do a little you don't have to break out the scrubber or anything, but you need to at least like do a rinse. So
and is he armed with that knowledge?
Yes.
Now you know why the Moss Pit moved you to lead dishwasher.
Right.
I always wondered.
Now that I'll be staying in your guest cottage starting tonight.
That's like tonight, as early as tonight.
But yeah. So I don't mind the only thing is, and this I get, like sometimes you can't start the dishwasher until like a certain time, like like before bed you can start the dishwasher, but sometimes I'll start the dishwasher and then like if Gene wants to watch TV. Then sometimes, even though I think the dishwasher's pretty quiet, but that'll kind of bother her. So you got to pick your spots. Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, but I was not good as a actual professional dishwasher.
Yeah. Okay.
But in in my house,
sounds like a lot of high drama going on.
I mean,
I love the drama. I love drama.
Yeah,
though. Who doesn't love
the reality show will be out in October.
You give me a little
encourage you to watch it.
Dishwashing drama on a Friday.
Yeah.
Good stuff. A good start. All kind of things to talk about today. Jags and Bucs. I'm going to go through today who to watch and for whom this game's important. I think there's a handful of guys. We'll get to that coming up. I got some thought on other NFL guys, other NFL quarterbacks, all kind of fun stuff. I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons today. The Atlanta Falcons are going to make the program today. I got a thought or two and a question about that. So a lot of stuff. You don't like any. I'm not a big country guy, and I know you're not a country guy. JJ, you like country? Yes,
I love country music.
You love country music?
Yes.
Do you like Alabama, the band Alabama?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider them a country, but they're like point. Southern rock. Yes,
you wouldn't consider Alabama country.
They're
like look up country in the dictionary.
Yeah, I guess like anything in the '70s that's not like Hank.
Well,
I put in like a classic Southern rock category.
They're not Southern rock. They're more country. But I hear you. But I know what you're saying though, and he's kind of right. They're country, but there's a little bit of that. There's a little Southern rock in there. There is. So, but anyway,
I'll take your word for it.
I'm a big fan. Yeah. I am a big Alabama fan. There's not many country bands that I feel that way about. But there was a tribute to him last night. Seriously, a 2-hour tribute. Jay, did you watch it by any chance? Did you see it? It was unbelievable. It's honestly one of the best things I've seen on these.
What was the performance that resonated with you the most?
Jamie Johnson sang "Angels Among Us." It was absolutely. My wife's crying. I mean, it was really good. Wow. Hayes. It was. That was probably the best one. I mean, Old Dominion played. This guy Riley Green, who I didn't know a lot about, played. But this is. I mean,
this isn't country at all.
Yeah.
No. Why would a band that makes a song called "Born Country" be country?
But I'm telling you, it was so freaking good. It was really. If you're a country fan out there, and even though Hayes and I aren't all that much, Hayes not at all, me not really all that much. I hope you saw saw this last night. I mean, it was.
What was it on?
It was CMT.
Oh,
CMT,
okay.
And I didn't even know where that was on.
What's the C stand for in CMT?
Well said. No, they're country. And it was all country acts. It was all the country acts did it. So they're country. But I will tell you, it was really good. I don't know. They're coming in November.
I mean, I respect the fact that people love it.
Listen.
It's just not my thing.
I've said this too.
Yeah.
I respect Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Led Zeppelin was the greatest bands of all time. Not my thing, you know. So I get that. But I'm just telling you, last night watching it, it was honestly one of the. I hope if you're a country fan, an Alabama fan, I hope you watched it. And I'm sure if you didn't, you can see it all on YouTube or or wherever. So it was absolutely. I mean, I've been buzzing about it all day. My wife has too. So it's been really really cool stuff. So it was really, really good stuff. All right, a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Falcons today. We're going to talk about Ohio State a little bit today. Is Will Howard good? I know we touched on that yesterday. We didn't really expound on it. Is he good?
I think he's good, but he's going to look great with the system and more importantly, the talent that is around him.
Yeah,
he has an NFL receiving corps.
Right, and when you have an Ohio State guy making a double move on the Purdue corner,
probably going to go badly for the Boilers.
Yeah. So and I get that. So, but so a lot of fun things we'll get to today. So we're going to talk Atlanta, and here's what we do with the Falcons later on in the program. I'm going to ask Pete Prisco this too. Are they the team, Hays, that this year thinks that this is their run? They went and got Matthew Judon. Today they went and got Justin Simmons. In the offseason, they signed Kirk Cousins and drafted Michael Penix Jr. I mean, it just seems like
that's the only move they made that was stupid and flew in the face of winning now.
No, and I hear you, but it's almost like Arthur Blank said, "All right, listen. We've been the problem we've had since 1966 is we've been the damn Atlanta Falcons, and the Atlanta Falcons." Honestly, and we'll talk more about this later. I don't want to scoop myself, but I mean, essentially, the Atlanta Falcons' most memorable moment ever is blowing a 28-3 lead.
Without a doubt.
I mean, in the history of the franchise, the most known thing they've ever done is blow a 25-point lead in a Super Bowl. And listen, they've been to a handful of Super Bowls. They had Michael Vick, who's one of the most dynamic players of his time. But boy, that's about it. Isn't it? I mean, I'm really trying to think of prominent Falcons other than Michael Vick. Matt Ryan was a great player.
And obviously that ended about as much of a fiasco as it could have. I mean, they've been one of those franchises that's just struggled to find their footing. And, you know, again, Arthur Blank has been the owner there now for 25 years? Long time. And he is desperate to finally win something of consequence. And to your point, he's won the NFC, and that's something of consequence. He's gotten to a Super Bowl. But, he's one of these owners that's like, I don't know how many more years I have left, and we need to win this thing. I remember Blank trying to lure Bill Parcells, so he has to have been the owner 25, 30 years there. And, I think if you're Atlanta, that's why I think Blank was so upset with the Penix selection, why it had to be sort of talked into it, because, after they had gone ahead and pulled the trigger on the move, because it was not win now. Yeah, and I think everything Arthur Blank is doing is absolutely win now.
So we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. We'll update you on the golf, by the way, the St. Jude Championship, the first of the 3 playoff tournaments. Scotty Scheffler, by the way, thinks it's goofy. You see that comment the other day? He thinks it's silly. He thinks it's silly. So we'll update you. Big names at the top of the leaderboard today. So we'll update you as they complete play in the second round. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. Glad you're with us on the program. Pete Prisco at 5 o'clock. When we come back, Hays, for whom is this game really important tomorrow? Handful of among the Jaguars, a handful of names. We'll get to some of those. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Find the high groove. It's showtime. This Sunday at Michigan International Speedway. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on your NASCAR station. 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new walk-off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
Tropic Fan Fest is on at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You know what that means. Free smoothies for Tropic Rewards members all week. Monday, free smoothie. Tuesday, free smoothie. Wednesday, another one. Thursday, another one. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you guessed it, more free smoothies with bowl or food purchase. Don't miss a day. Download our app and join Tropic Rewards to get in on the fun. Tropic Fan Fest is now through August 18th at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Terms and conditions apply.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality products. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for The Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
Oh, no. No.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals, and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Are you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We had Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Frank Frangie here. Ready to experience used for you? You can with Car Bravo at Nimnicht Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealer. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnicht Buick GMC can certify all makes and models: Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford, with promotional rates as low as 2.9% APR. Now is the time to shop certified used vehicles at Nimnicht Buick GMC. Who gives you top dollar for your trade? Nobody but Nimnicht. Shop online at Nimnicht Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
A kind word from a stranger to lend a helping hand.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Any kind of fun at the dark end of the road. Someone lights the way with just a single ray of hope. Oh, I believe there are angels among us.
I will tell you, JJ, one of the coolest things about it, too, last night was how all these big acts, the reverence they had for those guys. You know, whether it's sports or music or acting or whatever, when contemporaries revere and appreciate the ones that kind of came before them, the ones that paved the way, I think it's one of the coolest things.
I agree, and we get less and less of it, unfortunately.
I know.
Especially in sport.
I agree with that. But I just think this is a beautiful song, man. But I think when contemporaries say thank you to those who came before them, I will tell you this: in our business, I hope, and I won't because I worked with them both, but I hope nobody in our business ever loses sight of what the Jay Solomons and the David Lambs of the world did so we can do this. We have pretty good gigs, you know that? We have these pretty good gigs.
Amen.
And so I hope we never lose sight of that. So this was fantastic from last night. So anyway, again, Alabama last night on CMT, a tribute that I thought was just absolutely fantastic. And loved every minute of it. I really did. All right, Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you today. In your mind, and again, there's another game next week. My guess is the starters go about a half next week. So for a half, I think my guess is it's going to feel like a real football game. But then the second half is one last opportunity to show their wares to some of these guys, Hays. But for whom in your mind is tomorrow night the most important? Give me a handful of guys.
I'm going to start with that secondary. You know, when you look at it, they've got so many veteran guys that they've brought in with a lot of NFL experience. Adrian Amos is a 10-year guy. Terrell Edmonds has played 7 years in the league. It does make you wonder, are they prioritizing? We know about the signing of Tashawn Gibson, who obviously won't play for the first 6 weeks of the regular season. But it makes you wonder if, as a staff, Ryan Nielsen has said, I'm willing to trade youth and the athleticism of youth for some guys on the back end that are not going to blow assignments and that I know the communication piece is going to be pristine with. Because they've got so many guys now, if you look at that defensive back grouping, that, I mean, are old veteran players. I mean, Ronald Darby, and we know he's going to have a big role.
Guys that have been in the league a while.
But, and so it does make me wonder, are we going to see a sea change at that position where they've been so young for so long and see some of the older guys make it? So I'm curious there. And from there, I think it's somewhat your usual suspects. I'm excited to see if Brenton Strange can show up because I'm assuming Evan Ingram won't play. Strange had a nice play from Trevor yesterday. It was, the first time I've seen him kind of catch a ball that was like 25 yards down the field. We've seen him catch some things here or there, kind of out in the flat. But I'm curious to see if Brenton Strange can show any sort of explosiveness as a receiver. Mason Smith is obviously, I think he's going to play, and the rookie second rounder is certainly generated a lot of buzz. What can he do? Tank Bigsby is going to get a lot of time. I want to see Tank Bigsby do something to keep that confidence moving in the right direction. I think up front at the offensive line, Hance and Hodges are probably going to get, some good looks. So, what do we see out of those two? Ventrell Miller, I would think, is going to play. I would think it's, one of those things that it's time to start seeing some good things there. And, Parker Washington, I think, is going to play because I can't imagine that Christian Kirk definitely isn't. I'd be shocked if he plays. And I wouldn't think Gabe Davis plays. So certainly an opportunity for Parker Washington to continue to show his growth as a receiver. So I think there's a lot of storylines here that are going to make this game exciting.
Yeah, I think, Hays, you're right. The best players who will play in the game are the list you just ran off. Bigsby, Strange, Ventrell Miller, a lot of those second-year guys, they'll play in the game. My guess would be Brian Thomas Jr. will play some. Mason Smith will play. The rookies will play some. I'll be interested to see if guys like Ezra Cleveland and Anton Harrison, who couldn't play last week, might get a few reps just to get loosened up a little bit, so wouldn't be surprised. But as for the guys for whom it really matters, Hays, I'm going to go through some names, okay? This is the guys for whom I think it really matters. Number one, let's start with the receiver room. Elijah Cooks. And I would think they're going to use him on some special teams tomorrow. And I think Elijah Cooks is a better receiver than Tim Jones. We've had this talk. I heard you have it on the handoff. We've had this talk. You and I have had it a bunch. I think Elijah Cooks and I think he's an NFL receiver. But if he's your sixth guy, and that's what I think he would be here, because I think the first three are Davis, Thomas, and Kirk. I think Parker Washington and Duvernay are 4 and 5. That's my opinion. So Cooks would be number 6, or Tim Jones would be number 6. I don't sense they're carrying 7. So can Cooks do enough on special teams and make the team because he's a better receiver than Jones, or can he not pass Jones because Tim Jones is such a good special teamer, he makes the team ahead of him? That's what I'll watch. The offensive line group is interesting. If you think for a second, we know who we think the starters are. We think the starters are Cam, Cleveland, Morse, Sheriff, and Anton Harrison. We're pretty sure those are the starters. If those are the 5 starters, we know I say for a fact, we're pretty sure Walker Little and Luke Fortner are on the team. That's 7 guys. I think they're keeping 9. It could keep a 10th, but I think it's 9. Well, let's for the sake of the conversation, it's 9 and those 7 are in. Man, Blake Hance is a good player. Cooper Hodges is a guy they love. They drafted Javon Foster. This guy, Stephen Jones, is 6'5", 350, and they think there's something there. Might wind up with the practice squad. Well, who makes it and who doesn't? I think this game's important for Hance, Hodges, Foster, Jones, whoever else. And by the way, I'm told Cole Van Lannon has had a fantastic camp.
Wow.
Not a good camp, a fantastic camp.
That's surprising.
But I'm telling you, I'm told he's had a real. So
I mean, again, we don't pay a ton of it. I don't pay a ton of attenation to the offensive lineman, but that's good news for Van Lannon.
Yeah, fantastic camp, I'm told. So if that's the case, if he's on the team, so I think that grouping is really important. So I think it's important. So those guys, and then you hit it, the secondary, not just the veteran safety guys. But there's a lot of, again, if we in our mind, we think it's going to line up. Tyson Campbell and Darby will start outside. Savage would be the nickel, we would think. And the safeties, Antonio Johnson and Cisco. Now, I'm guessing at that. Mike Savage may back up to safety. That's where he is on the depth chart, so who knows. But let's assume that's it. That's the grouping. Well, okay. Who are the other cornerbacks? Is Prince a cornerback? Is he next in line? Jarian Jones next in line? Does Monteric Brown make the team? Does Braswell make the team? If Savage is at safety, where he's listed on the depth chart, if he goes to safety, does Braswell become the number 1 nickel? So is that how they play it? Do they need Savage to now be a safety because they lost Dewey, who they really like, and they're not going to have Deshaun Gibson? So and to Ryan Nielsen's credit, he said, "Look, don't pay too much attention to the depth chart. We're moving guys all over the place." So I think secondary guys. It's really important. How that whole thing plays out and where they wind up playing those guys, I think is important. I think the offensive line, again, there's 2 or 3 pretty good players that aren't going to be on this team. The Cooks-Jones thing, I think, is very, very interesting. And I think those corners. So for me, those are the guys. Running back, I think we have an idea what they're doing. Now this Jalen Jackson guy's interesting, but my guess is he's a practice squad guy. My guess is running back, I'm guessing, will be ETN, Bigsby, that's not a guess. We know that. I think Dearness Johnson's going to be on the team, and I can't imagine they would risk Keelan Robinson, who who they drafted out of Texas. So I think we know that. I think tight end, we know that group. I think that group is going to be Ingram and Farrell and Strange, and I wouldn't think they're going to keep a fourth guy either. Maybe they will, but those three are on the team. So I think, you see my point? I think we know some positions. Obviously, quarterback, Mac Jones and C.J. Beathard are in a competition for the backup spot. I'm pretty confident it's going to be Mac Jones. They went and got him. But I went through the positions that I think are the most of note and the most worth watching tomorrow.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, again, it's going to be intriguing to see how they determine the playing time and who sits and who doesn't, because, that is going to reveal something about how the staff feels about these players, whether they're playing or whether they're not. And if they are playing, how far into this game are they playing? So, this is a really intriguing game because this is one where it's hard for staffs to kind of hide what they really want. You kind of have to show your cards a little bit with this game.
Agreed.
And particularly when you have the joint practices, because you're going to tell us, okay, who can we absolutely not lose? Because those guys aren't playing. Then you're going to see, okay, well then with that in mind, who do they feel like is worthy of being the first group out? That's going to tell you something. And then again, how deep, if you're playing in the fourth quarter of this game, probably a bad sign. You're probably on the outside looking in as we get to, basically the final turn of camp. So I really find these games to be fascinating because I think you're going to get a really good sense of the tiers of this team. Obviously, we have a pretty good idea, but there will be a surprise or two tomorrow night in terms of how a player is either employed or not employed.
Yeah, totally agree. As much fun as Camp Superstar Makes Team is, I don't want that. Because if Camp Superstar makes team or figures prominently into the roles, that means there was a hole in what you planned. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't want a hole. I want the planning to play out. If Camp Superstar is really good, then I want him to be third team, and he only plays in an emergency. And the good teams, that's how it is. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch. Other storylines that we've gone through all of them. Mac Jones versus Trask, if they're the two starting quarterbacks, will be really fun. It'll take us back to that game a few years back. Mac Jones versus Wolford at any point will be fun. Bowles versus Kenny.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some fun storylines to this thing, and it's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this ball game as much as I have any in a long, long time. We'll take a break. Hays has headlines on the other side. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Mia here. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device, no app needed. Just sign up at mybookie.com and you're ready to rock. Whether you're rooting for your alma mater or your favorite team, there's no better way to experience the season than having action on the games. When you know your team well, it's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the Wolverines to win the national championship, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10 times return on their wager. These types of bets highlight why it's worth it to lay an investment before the season begins. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin, and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the season with house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
It's all about the beautiful game, the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. From national teams to youth soccer on the First Coast, join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk, Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
This is Hays Carlyon for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of new vehicles. Camrys starting at $329 a month. RAV4s for $349 a month. Tundras as low as $499 a month. And they all come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected for the next 20 years. Plus, every purchase will help fund a teacher's project in our schools. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota St. Augustine. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
After being acquired from the San Francisco 49ers this offseason, defensive end Eric Armstead is ready to add more star power to the Jags' defensive front. Armstead, who began training camp on the physically unable to perform list, has been activated to the roster. Here's Armstead on if he will suit up week one.
My goal is always to be there to help my team win games. So, definitely week 1 is a goal for me. I'm going to, continue to take it day by day and continue with the plan that they have for me, and feeling good. Everything is trending very positively. So that's amazing. And like I said, I want to help my team win games. I definitely want to be out there as much as possible, but I'm going to continue to stick with the plan that they have for me.
It's still unclear whether or not Armstead will suit up for week 1 in Miami. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. JJ LaSelva is here. I am Hays Carlyon.
Are you here?
No.
Okay,
I am
two
not
of us are here.
It's Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
I'm long gone.
I felt like you were here.
Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Had a chance to go by Harrell & Harrell today to talk some football at their kickoff party. We had a great time.
Did you get a logo?
Got the logo up here.
That is
studio
like a
sponsor.
Three-dimensional logo.
Yeah, I know.
That's a logo right there.
It's phenomenal, absolutely. So appreciate our friends at Harrell & Harrell again. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we've been breaking it down, but the lead story's got to be Jags versus Bucs. I think the Jags, not that it matters, but I kind of think the Jaguars are going to win this game comfortably. Am I nuts?
Yeah, no, because I think the game is going to be played between who's got the best second and third teamers, and I think the Jags are going to measure up against a lot of teams that way. I don't know. I don't pretend to know the Bucs personnel, but I think the game is going to be played. I think when the Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirks and Baker Mayfields and Mike Evans of the world are sitting this one out, Hayes, it's going to be played by the backups. And I think what we learned a week ago against the best team in the league, in all likelihood, the Jags had better backups. They did. They had better backups than the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I think, I don't think you're nuts. We'll see. Again, you're still trying to project who's got the better second and third teamers, but I think the Jags are going to be good tomorrow night. I agree with that.
I think Mac Jones is going to light up Tampa Bay. I think.
Well, if it's Mac, I'll say this, and I'll say it again. Mac Jones is freaking good. Yeah. I'm telling you, I will be surprised if he doesn't start again in the league. I'd be surprised if he doesn't start again in the league. I mean, he's a first-round draft pick. He got up to New England. It was goofy. Which defensive guy calling the offensive plays, an offensive guy calling the defensive plays, and you're following Tom Brady. And Belichick is not long for the place, and it was a bad situation, And he's back home and he's comfortable. I think he's a good player. I really do. I think Mac Jones is a good player, and I agree with you. I think he'll have a very good game. What was he? 8 out of 9 last week, something like that.
And obviously you're dependent on the other 10, but I think the Jags' depth at receiver, depth at the offensive line, I think Mac Jones is going to have time to work. So anyway, we'll see what happens, but I think Jaguars win comfortably. Again, not that it really matters, but it will be fun to watch. The Jaguars have made a roster move today. They have signed defensive end Joe Gaziano. So the Gaz is in town.
I was just going to say, did the Gaz get here?
We got the Gaz.
Wow.
And
on top of everything else that's going well, now the Gaz is here?
That's right. He's played about 23 games in the NFL, so he's been in the league for a few years. And the team did release defensive end Rasheem Green as a corresponding move. So one defensive end out, another in, and we certainly wish Joe the best of luck as a Jaguar.
I'll say this. If I'm concerned, obviously, we want to see if the interior of the offensive line is good. I said that's a concern. It's some young cornerbacks. I'll say this. Is there enough edge? Is there enough help at edge after Josh Hines, Allen, and Trayvon Walker? I think that's a fair question.
I think it is a very fair question.
I mean, I think there's one thing. If I've got something, if I'm looking for something to be concerned about, that's on the list.
Yeah, no doubt about it. ESPN did really comprehensive rankings today. Every position was ranked 1 through 32, and then they did an overall. I was surprised where they had the Jaguars. The Jaguars ranked 17th overall in talent. But the thing that really surprised me about it is, other than tight end, where they had the Jaguars ranked 6th. Well, excuse me, an off-ball linebacker, the Jaguars were 3rd. But other than those two, the Jaguars did not finish in the top 12 in any other category. Quarterback was 16. Edge was 13. That's the one that I can't get.
Yeah.
Receiver was 14. So, again, just another chip on the shoulder for the Jaguars because I think their talent's better than this. But look, I get it. You know, they collapse down the stretch, and this is the kind of thing that you're going to have to deal with. But I'd be surprised if we get to the end of the year and you feel like the Jaguars are in that bottom half of the league in terms of talent on the roster.
I would too. I think you're right. But I'm also not surprised. And look, we talk about how, I know I have, this is a team with back-to-back winning seasons, which hasn't happened a lot around here. But the flip side of that, Hays, and if we're being honest, I'm trying to be very honest about this, it's also a team that hasn't had a 10-win regular season either. It's back-to-back 9-8 seasons. It's not back-to-back 12-5 seasons. I know that. And so I think the people are saying 17th overall means you're ordinary. And I think the league, until the Jags prove that they're not ordinary, I don't believe they are, but until they prove they're not ordinary, that's going to be what people think.
Week 2 of the preseason kicked off last night with Philadelphia at New England. I thought Patriots rookie quarterback Drake May looked good last night. I wasn't overly impressed with what they had him do in the first game. He wasn't really out there that much, and I still don't really know if I buy him as a big-time NFL player. But I will say he threw a nice deep ball last night that was dropped by Javon Baker. It was a nice 40, 50 yards down the field. Put it in a good place. Baker got 2 hands on it. It would have been, it wasn't a routine catch, but more of a drop than it was a miss for sure. And then Drake May ran for a 4-yard touchdown and showed some pretty good athleticism on the play. So I think if you're a Patriots fan, you saw Joe Milton play well in the opener. Drake May played well, obviously, last night, and that's what you really want to see because obviously Drake May is who the franchise has really put their trust into to be their savior.
And they let him play a lot. Brissett started the game, but and he'll be their starter, I would imagine, when the season begins. But they let Drake May play a lot. Look, I think he's going to be a pretty good player. I think Drake May's going to be a pretty good NFL player. I don't know if he's going to be a great player, but I think he's going to be a middle-of-the-pack starting quarterback. I think he's Andy Dalton plus. I mean, I don't think I'd be surprised if he's not around a long time. Whether he's great or not, we'll see. But he strikes me as a guy that somehow, some way, in some capacity will be a quarterback in the league for a long time.
We continue to monitor the new dynamic kickoff return, and last night we had 7 returns for an average of 31.4 yards, so more evidence that this thing is going to fizzle. The coaches just simply aren't going to engage in this. If they have a kicker that can kick it through the end zone, which most of them do, that is what they will do, and they will make the opponent just start at the 30-yard line.
Here's another reason why that might happen. There were 2 big-time collisions. The first 2, did you watch the first 2 kickoffs of the game? They were big-time. The first 2 Patriot kickoffs, I guess, not the first 2 of the game, were big-time collisions. They're trying to keep the car wrecks out of this thing. That's what they're trying. They're trying to keep the head-on collisions. That's why they got rid of it. Mm-hmm. That's why they changed it. You saw the stat. There were far more concussions from a kickoff return than any other play in football. And taking it out will reduce it a great deal. I think that's one more reason you might see a bunch of touchbacks. And by the way, that'll add offense to the game because people starting at the 30 will lead to more points, and we all love points. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Bengals kicker Evan McPherson, a former Gator who I thought was an idiot to leave school early. It's proven me wrong.
Yeah,
had a heck of a career and just signed a lucrative contract extension that will pay him about $5 million a year. So, Evan, I was wrong. Congratulations.
Part of that was your angry Gator didn't want to lose him, which I respected greatly.
Only Florida could have a kicker declare early for the draft. But at least to his credit, he has become one of the best kickers in the NFL.
And I will tell you this.
Feel free to make the kick against LSU, though, Evan.
It's a good point. But I'll tell you this. When Mullen recruited him, I don't know. He was going to Mississippi State. And then then Mullen got the job, and he followed him to Florida. And I can remember Dan Mullen saying, well, he couldn't talk about it until he was signed. But once he signed him, I remember him saying, wait till you see this guy. Yeah. Everybody. I remember him. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I remember Mullen saying, everybody missed on this guy. Wait till you see this guy kick. I can still remember that.
Yeah, signed a huge contract extension today. So Evan McPherson will be a Cincinnati Bengal for a long time. Sean McVay's not coaching in the second preseason game to give reps to an assistant. I thought this was really cool. So passing game coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, Aubrey Pleasant, he will act as head coach for the Chargers game. I'm not going to question McVay. The 38-year-old is 70-45 as Rams head coach. So this just to me begs the question of, will Press Taylor be the head coach for the third preseason game here in Jacksonville?
Well played. Good for McVay, but I do have a question about that. It's not about Press or Doug. What's your take on Liam Cohen? Everyone says he's the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah, I think he's good,
but why does he move so much?
Maybe it's a personality
because he is.
thing.
Because I think he's good. He's now the Bucs coordinator, and
so he didn't he go Kentucky, Rams, back to Kentucky, and now with Tampa?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That's
a lot of moves.
It's a lot of moves, and and by the way, Tampa people think he might be better than Canales, who got the head job in Carolina. So he's really good. But my goodness, he moves around. That's a guy that's a lot. An awful lot. But I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be a future head coach, I would think, in the next 2 or 3 years. And look, if it goes well in Tampa, maybe sooner than we think. So this falls into pop culture, but we're staying in the sports world with this one. Did you see Nicolas Cage has been tabbed to star as John Madden in a biopic about the famous coach commentator? The film is called Madden and is being directed by David O. Russell, a 5-time Oscar nominee.
No, I didn't. I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, I can't get there.
Nicolas Cage is Madden. I can't get there.
I can't get there.
I'm trying.
We'll see.
Part of it is because you want a guy with girth to play a guy with girth.
Right.
I wanted John Goodman to play Babe Ruth, even though his swing looked goofy.
Yeah.
Because he was built like I thought Ruth was built.
And this is a lot of girth. This isn't like Tom Hanks gaining 30 pounds to play Jimmy Dugan in A League of Their Own. This is gaining a good 100.
Yeah. So I can't. And I love Nicolas Cage, but I can't get there.
He's also just so like. Nicolas Cage to me has like this kind of dark goofiness.
No question.
And that's the utter that's the antithesis of John Madden, who's very jovial. And I mean, look, he is an actor and he can maybe act that way, but it does seem to me it's intriguing. It'll get people talking, but I do wonder about the execution of it. So
odd fit for me too.
Yeah, we will see. We were talking about this yesterday in the world of college football, and we kind of centered it around Billy Napier. But Frank, do you think we could get to a point with these buyouts and things that if you like your coach, and again, we'll stick it with Billy Napier in this example because he's the coach that we cover that's on the hot seat. If you like Billy Napier, you like the vision, you like the program that he's building, he just hasn't been able to get there from a wins-loss perspective. Do you think in the NIL age, you'll see schools say, let's give him another chance instead of paying him the $25 million to buy him out, let's put $12 million more towards our NIL for football and see if just getting him 3 to 4 more really impactful players will make a difference?
It's a fantastic question. I hope it happens, but your direct question to me is, do I think it will? No. Mm-hmm. I think, and social media has enhanced this, but it started way before social media came around. People want the coach fired and the new coach so badly now, Hays. People, in the worst way, people want the new coach. Whenever your guy struggles a little bit, unless he's Nick Saban or has that kind of heritage, the minute your guy struggles, the minute it looks like he might not, let me say this clearly, the minute it looks like he might not be the guy, people can't wait to run him off because they love the coaching search, they love the new guy, they love the press conference, and they're convinced the next guy's going to be great. So no, I think not just Napier. Most coaches never make it off the hot seat. I've told you that before, and I think we have never been in a fire the coach age the way we are now. So I don't think NIL will change that. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
Good stuff. JJ agrees with you. The FedEx St. Jude Championship is going on for the PGA Tour. We will give you an update. Denny McCarthy and Hideki Matsuyama lead the way at 11 under. Both are done for the day. Sam Burns is at 10 under. Scotty Scheffler, there he is, 9 under.
Of course.
He's in 4th solo, 66, followed by a 65 today. So, again, Scheffler will be number 1. He doesn't really have to do anything to be the leader going into the final at Eastlake in a couple weeks down the road. But hey, if there's a $20 million purse, then Scotty Scheffler is like, why not? Why not compete in that event? So looks like a pretty good leaderboard. It's tough for me to get into this early on in it because I don't really care who makes it from 70 to 50 and stuff like that. But it's hard to believe the FedEx Cup is officially here.
How about this? How about this guy, Nick Dunlop? That was a sneeze ago, was playing for Alabama and trying to win the SEC against Florida, Auburn, and LSU. And now he just bogeyed to go to 7 under, but he was at 8 under.
Wow.
3 shots off the lead in a great leaderboard.
Rory, by the way, 11 shots back.
Okay.
Wow.
He's
But again, so Rory
53rd or something.
Yeah, but so how it'll work, it does on the leaderboard give you sort of the projection
and
of
he's
this.
in.
Yeah, so he really doesn't need to do much in this, and he tends to do well in the final tournament there. So we'll see. But yeah, that is surprising that he's not playing better so far today. Let's get it now. We're gonna kind of stay in golf, but we're gonna go to our flashback of the day. Because on this date in 1996, Tin Cup was released in theaters.
How about that?
Kevin Costner, Rene Russo. Who doesn't love Tin Cup? Obviously, Caddyshack is, I think, the greatest golf movie because it's just so funny. But in terms of actual golf being played, Tin Cup is, for my money, right up there. I thought it was a phenomenal story of how they told it, with Kevin Costner sort of being this talented but troubled journeyman. Finally gets motivated because of his interest in Rene Russo's character, and goes to qualify for the U.S. Open, and can he hold it together, and then ultimately won't give it away. But I thought a really original and great finale. It's a funny movie too.
You can give it away. It's old enough now. So
you would think, yeah.
But the
almost 30 years.
Yeah, but I will tell you. Here, let me give you my take on Tin Cup. I thought it was fantastic. I thought Don Johnson was fantastic. I think Rene Russo was fantastic. I think Cheech was fantastic. I mean, everybody was cast wonderfully in that thing. The downside to it was, just my opinion, I loved the movie, but you had to sort of be a golf fan to appreciate it. You didn't have to be a golf fan to appreciate Caddyshack.
Right.
You didn't have to be a golf fan to appreciate Happy Gilmore. But you kind of had to,
no.
But you kind of had to know golf a little bit to appreciate Tin Cup, because it felt like real golf.
Yeah.
And he's like playing for his card, right?
Right. So you had to kind of understand the paradigm. But for me, for those of us who do, because we're sports people, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So hard to believe, but 28 years ago, Tin Cup released in theaters. Wow. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. Today we pay tribute to the King, as this is the 47th anniversary of Elvis Presley's death.
Wow.
He was 42 years old. Presley received the Grammy for Lifetime Achievement. At 36 years old, he sold over 500 million records worldwide. And this is, of course, Hound Dog.
My mom, I think I've told you this, my mom and one of her friends saw him at the Jacksonville Coliseum.
I've got it on my list.
And it's pretty amazing. And before you know it, 2-3 years he was gone. 2 or 3 months after that he was gone. So he really did. So my mom saw him and always talked about the fact that she saw Elvis Presley. It was really cool stuff. Well done as always. Great job of headlines. Pete Prisco waits on the other side. This is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. From the Senior Bowl to the Combine, Draft, Minicamp, Training Camp, Preseason, Regular Season. Where they go, we go. 1010XL.
Mia here, get it all when you shop Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Just listen to this. Over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 100 pickups, over 50 luxury vehicles. That's over 600 vehicles, and they're all in one location. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18,000. Plus, you get Arlington's 60-day exchange program and financing help from their Credit for Everyone program. Shop online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
We will be perfect.
Training camp.
You drop a pass, you run a mile.
Nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Get daily training camp coverage brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Perfection
on 1010XL. The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. The restaurant of the day is Flame Broiler. Try the happy hour special, a mini chicken bowl with a drink for just $6.45. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or check out one of 5 locations across town. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Prosser here. I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us. Imagine watching your favorite team in your new Lifetime man cave, family hangout, or Lifetime's version of a she shed. And now Lifetime is expanding their replacement window division. Make your home energy efficient with their Energy Star rated windows, enclosures, flooring, and windows to fit any and all budgets. Visit the showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let Lifetime be your home team.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
Arabian dromedary. That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool. They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Hey, Hickett here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Beach's Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beach's Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Duval,
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for the Jaguars 2024 home opener when they go head-to-head with the Cleveland Browns. Join us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage and take the field at Everbank Stadium for the first time during our 30th season. Lock in your seats now for the 1 p.m. kick by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. After winning back-to-back national titles in 2021 and 2022, Georgia head coach Kirby Smart is focused on what will bring his team back to the promised land. Coach Smart is hoping his weapons in the backfield don't only make the Bulldogs a dangerous team on the ground, but play a key role in setting up their passing attack.
But it's something that we pride ourselves on, and to be honest with you, you're not going to be an explosive passing team because explosive passes happen off play action, and you can't be an explosive passing team off play action if you can't run the ball. So the balance of those two is really critical. We've been more explosive passing the ball in the last 2 years than previous years. A lot of that has to do with the skill players, has to do with the quarterback, has to do with how the coordinator calls the game.
NASCAR fans, be sure to tune in to 1010XL's coverage of the Firekeepers Casino 400 this Sunday at 2:30 on 1010 a.m. It's 86 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
And we thank our friends from Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. They do a great job. Phillips Highway at the end of Shad Road. I mean, if you're a collector, they've got it all, man. No matter what team it is you root for, and as the Jag season gets set to start, going in there, big old showroom. They have card shows once a month. You're going to love getting by there. Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Pete Prisco joins us from CBSSports.com. Pete, thanks for joining us. Jags got one in the book. We'll get to tomorrow's game in a bit and the joint practices, but what did you make of game one against Kansas City? I thought the Jags played pretty well there.
Yeah, I did too. I thought the offense did some really good things. I thought, Trevor Lawrence looked comfortable. I thought the throw in the middle of the field to Gabe Davis was outstanding. Come back in the middle of the field, look left, come back. That's what he has to do. Getting Brian Thomas down the field, and I guess you guys have been there all week, but he must have been lighting up the Bucs, it sounded like. And we saw glimpses of that when I was there that day on the practice field, him starting to get more comfortable with what he was doing. But I thought that was good. I didn't like the play of the offensive line at times. One guy that did stand out to me was Cooper Hodges. I thought he was outstanding, and me and Tony talked about that. Maybe there's a competition there. Maybe he needs to get onto the field at some point. And then defensively, they're, like you said all offseason, right? They're bigger, they're stronger, they're tougher, and I think that's a good thing.
Pete, were you surprised that they signed Tashaun Gibson, considering he's suspended for the first 6 games?
Very much so. But again, what does that tell you about where Wingard is? I mean, I think that's a concern there. The backup veteran guy can come in, sees a lot of things. But, yeah, to answer your question, yeah. But, again, you're looking to try and upgrade in a lot of ways. And one of the ways he can upgrade is he's been around and seen a lot of it.
Pete, I got to tell you, Rick Stroud and I were talking on air and even off, and he's done this a long time, as you know. He said the Tampa Bay defensive backs, including the veteran guys, were buzzing about how fast Brian Thomas Jr. is. Now, listen, they practice against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin every day. They've been around this league. They couldn't believe. I say couldn't believe. That's probably too strong. But they were really surprised he was that explosive and that fast. Pete, there may be something special with this guy. I really believe that.
I do too. I thought his tape in college was fantastic last year, which was why early in camp I was a little surprised that he wasn't, doing what I thought he would do. But again, that's when guys think. They're thinking too much early, and now it looks like he's turned it on. And when you can turn it on like that, and you understand the concepts and the playbook and everything else, you're going to play a lot faster. So he plays to what his speed is, and you're right. He could end up being truly special for them, and that's the element that they need. They need that go-to guy down the field, and not just for this year, but you're talking about the long term. You might have a Chase, Jefferson kind of player on your hands, and that's something that Trevor Lawrence will have for a long time.
Yeah, without a doubt. Did you see any of the game last night? Any thoughts about Drake May?
He was better, and I watched the tape today because I wanted to go back and look at it. But there's still some things he needs to clean up. But, man, he looked much more comfortable than a week ago. He made that throw down the field to Baker that he dropped, the kid from UCF. He should have caught the football. It wasn't really a drop, but he should have caught the football. And he was athletic, and that's one thing that people forget about Drake May is he can move. I mean, he's a guy that he scored 9 rushing touchdowns last year at North Carolina. He can move. So I was impressed. If I'm New England, I'm playing him. I mean, just get him in there. I know there's concern about their offensive line, and they always worry about the psyche of a kid, but when you put him in there, if the psyche of the kid gets ruined, you drafted the wrong guy anyway. So I'm a big believer he needs to play right now.
Anything else get your attention? Last week when you had a full allotment of games, last night too, in the Hall of Fame game too, but mostly last weekend you had a full allotment. Anything jump off the page?
Well, and I think we talked a little bit about this last week. Right? The rookie quarterbacks are really good.
Yeah.
I mean, and I went and watched the Commanders work out with Miami yesterday, and boy. I thought really highly of Jaden Daniels coming into the draft. In fact, I think he's going to end up being the best of all of them. But when he watch him live, that football gets on top of those guys in a hurry. I mean, he's got a big-time arm, and I think he's going to be really, really good. I think he can win. He might end up pushing for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I think the rookie quarterbacks across the board, they're so much more polished than they used to be. They coming out, they do so many, 7-on-7s and throughout their high school career and on to college. And the college game is, now spread out and throwing it around that you can put them in there and let them play. And I think every single one of them had their moments in their first preseason game.
How devastating or just a minor setback is the injury for J.J. McCarthy?
Well, I think it's bad for him. I don't know if he was going to play much this year. Darnold he's won the job. Even though McCarthy looked good in the preseason opener, Darnold's winning that job and has really looked good for Sam Darnold. Now, if Sam Darnold goes out and, has a special season and resurrects his career, then they have a decision to make. But the reality is he was going to be the starter. You hope that he played well enough you didn't have to play J.J. McCarthy. But if he didn't, then J.J. McCarthy would have got in. The thing that hurts him is he's not getting the reps, even practice reps. And so you're essentially going to have your rookie year all over again other than the OTAs and a mini camp. So I think that hurts him from that standpoint.
Pete, how good are the Falcons going to be? I mean, they've been active. They signed Justin Simmons today, 1 year, $8 million. They just traded for Matthew Judon. They got to make him happy, but he's on their roster. Everyone knows the offseason. They went and got Cousins. Then they drafted Michael Penix, a weird pairing, I guess. But they've been active. Are they the new team? Are they the new Lions? Are they the new team that comes out of nowhere?
No.
What do you think?
No, I don't. I still think Tampa Bay's better.
Okay.
I think when you look at, getting Judon, if Judon's healthy and he's the same guy, and he got hurt last year. There's always that concern. He's not a kid anymore. And Simmons didn't play as well, I didn't think, last year. So, yeah, there's some name there. And they did address some positions that they needed addressing. But, again, I just think Tampa Bay's a better football team all the way across the board. And, their offensive line, I think, comparable. I think the Bucs' weapons are better. I think Mayfield's as good, particularly in big moments, than Kirk Cousins. And we don't know what Bijan Robinson can do in this new offense. And so that's the unknown because the Bucs really don't run the ball very well. So that's the difference. But I think Tampa Bay will be better on defense, too.
What do you think happens with Devontae Adams?
I think they're going to take a look and see where they're at and let it play out. If they're in the hunt, then he stays there. And if not, at some point before the trade deadline, I think they try to move him. And you keep hearing Rodgers wants him in with the Jets, and he would love to go back with Aaron Rodgers, his good buddy. So that could be a possibility. But I think for now, I think they're sitting there saying, okay, well, maybe we hang around in this division or at least hang around in the wild card, and we'll keep them. But if it goes bad early and it's capable of doing that with the way their quarterbacks are, then I think they look to make a move and get rid of them.
Same question with Ayuk. That story seems it'll never end. I guess it's down to staying with the 49ers or going to the Steelers. John Lynch says he's feeling a sense of urgency. Kid still hadn't practiced this year, Pete. What's going to happen there?
Again, I think when you look at it from that standpoint, if you're the 49ers, why not just go play with them? And then if he left as a free agent, you'd get the third round back from him anyway, in compensation as a compensatory pick. So what are you going to get from the Steelers that's really going to be the difference in you winning or losing a playoff game or even getting to the Super Bowl? So why not let it play out? And, you could. Is he unhappy in that scenario? Oh, well, he's not going to sit out. Guys don't sit out. They just play. You got to play. You got to get your money. And, Le'Veon Bell taught everybody that lesson. That doesn't work out quite that way. So I think when you look at it from that standpoint, I think if the compensation isn't good enough, and I don't know what they want because we keep hearing they wanted a wide receiver back, but, they're not getting the big play wide receiver in Pittsburgh. So what do you want? You're not getting that guy. So what are you going to get back? So if they don't get a wide receiver back, why not just play him and go from there? If he's not happy, oh, well, he's going to play.
Let's talk about breakout players this year. Are there any young players that maybe aren't household names yet that you feel like this is the year they're going to emerge?
In terms of offensive players or defensive?
It could be
players?
Anything. I mean, fantasy, however you want to take it.
Well, I think when you look at, for example, I was in Buffalo, and I think this is not really a young player, but I think Curtis Samuel is going to have a big year for them in a lot of ways. Kincaid will be the star. Kincaid's going to be by the end of the year. Kincaid might be the best tight end in the league. That's saying something. That's including Travis Kelce. That's how good he is catching the football. Laporta got all the jazz last year. Kincaid, there's your young guy that's going to end up being he might catch 120 passes. So he's one. I think when you look at some of these other teams, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, guys that have caught my eye, early young guys. Who's going to take the next step is like if Geno Smith stays on the field, I think the wide receiver from Ohio State, the little kid Smith and Jegma, is going to take another step forward. I think you got to look at always when you're looking for guys like that to take the next step. Look at the receivers going from year 1, 2 to 3, 2 to 3. Those are the guys that you look for. And you guys know how I feel about the quarterback position. I think Levis is going to take a giant step forward.
Pete, final question. What would you look for tomorrow night? What would you tell people to watch tomorrow? Neither team's going to play starters because they practiced the Bucs and the Jags did this week. So I don't think you're going to see many starters of note. Mac Jones, I guess, is going to start for the Jags. They haven't said that. It'll be either he or Beathard. Trask, I'm guessing, is going to start for the Bucs. What to watch tomorrow night if you're a Jaguars fan?
By the way, it's still comical when I think back to last year in August. I went into the Bucs camp and they said there was a full-fledged quarterback competition with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. And I said, "Are you sure?" And there really was. That's the weird thing about it. I don't know why they let that play that way, but it wasn't. In my mind, it wasn't close. But it ended up working out for him. I think I want to look to see some of those young offensive linemen in Jacksonville, Frank. Really, and watching the tape on Hodges, he was physical last week. He moved people and he was tough, and I think they missed that some. And you look, do they bench Sheriff and put in a young guy? Probably not. But I can tell you, if he continues to play like he did a week ago, I think he's going to get into the rotation and maybe even take that job within a month because they need that physical guy on the offensive line. I don't know if you heard that from coaching staff or whatever, but my tape watching, and I think Tony said the same thing, he was physical.
They really like him. I will tell you, they will cut an offensive lineman or two this year that they like. A lot of times when you're trying to keep 9, the 8th and 9th guy are just okay, and they're not all that different than the 10th or 11th guy, and you really feel like you got 7 good ones, and then you just have 2 on your team, as you know. Not this year, Pete. I can tell you what they think. They think there's probably 10 pretty good ones there, either good now or guys like Javon Foster who are going to be good. Stephen Jones, who's big and physical and is going to be good. But if you count guys that are good right now and guys that are pretty convinced can play in the league, Pete, I think there's 10 or 11 of them there, and they're only going to keep 9 or so. So I think that's a position, I really do, where they've got a little bit of young depth on the offensive front.
Do you think Hodges can push for that job?
I think he's going to make the team, and I think.
I think he makes the team. Yeah, I'm talking about playing.
No, I know, but again, it's. Here's what I told Hays earlier. You know the 5 starters, okay? You also know Walker Little and Luke Fortner are on the team. That's 7. You're only keeping 9. So you got Blake Hance, who's a good player. You got Cooper Hodges, who's got great potential. Cole Van Lanen, I'm told, has had as good a camp as any lineman here. Plus, you got the young guys. So I think it's going to be interesting to see which ones they keep. To your point, Cooper Hodges does give them a physicality that they don't have. They've got an athletic line. not a physical line. And I think that's the point you're making, right, is the fact that he's something that they don't necessarily have. So I think he's got a chance to fight for that job in time. Not to win, if you mean to open the season, no. But
it's funny, Frank. He played the right side and the left side, and I thought he looked much more comfortable on the right side.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, he was much better on the right side, which tells you if there's going to be a job open, his job he can push for, it'll be the right guard spot.
Yeah, and that's what he is. He played both, but he's a right guard. I don't think there's much chance Ezra Cleveland doesn't play. He's at a heel, so he hasn't been out there. But I think Brandon Sheriff is closer to the end of his career than Ezra Cleveland is. That's kind of the point. And
some of those backup defensive linemen did some good things. The Downs guys, 90 did some good things, and the other kid did a couple good things too. So those are another guys to keep an eye on. They've
got some numbers, no question. Pete Prisco checking in from CBS Sports. We do it every Friday right here on the program. Pete, thanks, buddy. Have a good weekend.
All right, guys. Take care.
Pete Prisco checking in from CBS Sports, as always, brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. One more time, the place to go if you're a collector. The place is big. You can't imagine how much good stuff is in there. No matter who it is you root for, they've got their stuff in there. I promise you that. Located at Phillips Highway, right at the end of Shad Road. More in a moment on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
You have heard about the 1010XL YouTube channel. Now check out our team-specific channels, 1010XL Jaguars, 1010XL Gators, and 1010XL Seminoles, bringing up specific, up-to-the-minute video coverage of your favorite local team. And find us on YouTube today.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Are you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We had Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Hey gang, Hicken here for Zero Res. Man, it is hot outside this time of the year. Many of us are staying inside or going to the pool. Well, my friends at Zero Res are also heating things up. As you know, Zero Res does a great job of cleaning carpets and rugs, but they also clean luxury vinyl planking, tile and grout, fine stone and hardwood floors. And right now, the hottest price of the year, 25% off all hardwood cleaning. That's 25% off tile, LVP, fine stone, and hardwood floors. Zero Res, man, spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it back. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. When you're hungry for midday sports talk, share a table with Helmets and Heels.
It's a bad idea to travel on an empty stomach.
Mia, Lauren, and Taylor.
We like hungry.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Tomorrow it's Card Show Day inside Showtime, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Around 20 tables of selection from our trusted vendors. Football, baseball, basketball cards, and more. Card Show tomorrow at Showtime. Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
This summer, beat the heat at Best Bet, your premier poker destination. Whether you're a seasoned poker pro or a first-time card player, you'll find a cool retreat from the summer heat with thrilling poker games, big payouts, and refreshing drinks. Join us for an unforgettable experience. Cool off and cash in at Best Bet. The stakes are high, the cards are hot, and your chance for fun is guaranteed. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Jags and Bucs tomorrow night at the stadium, 7:30, by the way, not 7 o'clock. 7:30 is the kickoff of that ballgame. Looking forward. You'll hear it right here on the radio station. 1010XL or 1010 AM. That's just 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Some guys are healthy, some are hurt. JJ, give us an update. Who's healthy, who's hurt?
The personal injury attorneys of Farah & Farah present this injury update. Farah & Farah.
Jacksonville.
Exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, the good news is it doesn't look like too many Jags are hurt. But Christian Kirk was the main concern for the Jags fans so far this week. He didn't practice up against the Bucs, and according to Doug Peterson, he has a mild calf strain.
It's kind of day-to-day. We'll get through this game, get to next week. We break camp after this game and get into more of a normal kind of an in-season type schedule. So with more rest on it, and we'll see where he is for Atlanta.
And Daniel Thomas has a foot issue, and they held him out of Thursday's practice.
DT might be the only one today you won't see out there. He kind of has the little heel issue that he banged about a week ago. He's fine. We're just going to kind of, again, precautionary and just kind of hold him out today. Other than that, everybody should be good and working.
Ezra Cleveland dealing with a sore heel. All three are listed as questionable, but I would highly doubt Kirk plays this weekend. Andrew Wingard, of course, dealing with a knee issue and will miss at least a few games, they said, in the regular season. But, of course, the best injury news of the week was Eric Armstead, who was taken off the PUP list just a few days ago.
My goal is always to be there to help my team win games. So, definitely week one is a goal for me. But I'm going to, continue to, take it day by day and, continue with the plan that they have for me. And I'm feeling good. Everything is trending very positively.
And that is the injury update.
Well done. We appreciate that, JJ, very much. Frangie, Carlyon, La Selva with you. So I mentioned the Falcons earlier. You agree with Pete that there's not much there? Or do you think they have a chance this year?
No, I think they have a chance. I really like Kirk Cousins. I think he's an underrated player. I think he'll get acclimated quickly. I also think he goes about his business in a really professional manner. So I think he's going to introduce nuances of the passing game to Kyle Pitts, Drake London, two players that I think have immense talent and have done some good things, but I think we're held back because of Desmond Ridder being an awful quarterback. And so I think Bijan Robinson gives them really good balance offensively. I also think Cousins will take advantage of him as a receiver. So offensively, I think Atlanta is going to be really good. It's just a question of will they be able to get the stops that they need. I would pick Atlanta to win that division now, and feel pretty comfortable with it because I just think what they're going to have on offense is going to be at a higher level than what Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and certainly Carolina are going to have.
Can Kirk Cousins get something out of Kyle Pitts? Can he find
Absolutely.
something?
It was interesting. Kirk Cousins talked about it about a week or two ago, and what his message has been to Kyle Pitts, and it was the kind of thing that Atlanta needs. It's a 35-year-old quarterback. He might even be older than that. He might be 36, but a guy that's been doing this for a long time and knows what it should look like. And he was pretty honest about, I had to talk to Kyle Pitts about this is what I need from you, and this is what you're not doing, and this is why it's going to work. And that Kyle Pitts had been very receptive to that. I think Kirk Cousins showing up in Atlanta is going to be the best thing that ever happened to Kyle Pitts. And I think it's going to be a big plus for Drake London as well. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be a real positive impact for Atlanta.
Well, there's certainly weapons there. If Bijan Robinson is what he might be, if Drake London continues to be, if Kyle Pitts can become, there's certainly weapons. It looks like to me they're the team trying this year, Hayes. I said that at the top of the program, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not they get there. Where's Brandon Ayuk? What's going to happen? He stays in San Francisco. I think most people believe that now, but does he stay? Is he pissy? He's got to play, but does it affect him? What do you think?
I still think he gets traded because you're so deep into camp, and to not have this resolved and to have the trade basically in place with Pittsburgh, I would imagine at some point San Francisco is just going to be like, all right, enough's enough. We've got a deal we like. We're trading him, outside of the conference. So I think ultimately he gets traded to Pittsburgh. I almost think there's a little bit of sabotage isn't the right word, but I think with San Francisco, it's like, well, we're not in any rush. Pittsburgh's the team that's going to have to get them up to speed.
Right.
And there probably is some hard feelings here. So San Francisco is, the last thing they want is to trade Brandon Ayuk and see him go for 1,500 yards as a Steeler. So, my guess is they're not in a huge hurry. Their team is set. They're only getting I would assume, picks back. I know they've talked about wanting a receiver back in the deal, but I can't imagine. I mean, Pete hit the nail on the head. Pittsburgh doesn't really have that. They have one in Pickens, who they're not obviously trading. And so my guess is this is going to be largely draft picks. Well, if you're San Francisco, draft picks don't have to be ready to play September 8th, but Brandon Ayuk certainly will for Pittsburgh. So I think ultimately he gets traded, and my guess is it would probably happen by Monday or Tuesday.
You realize Brandon Ayuk had 700-yard games last year.
Very consistent performer.
7 games of 100-plus. There's only one other receiver in 49ers history that's ever done that, and I'll bet you could name it.
I'm going to go with Jerry Rice.
I was going to say, I'll bet you've heard of
him. I'm going to go with the GOAT.
When you become only the second player in that team's history to do something, and this something was only done by Jerry Rice.
They had T.O. there for many years. He kind of hit his prime after he left.
Yeah.
But
they had John Taylor there. They've over the years they had Dwight Clark there. I mean, they've had fantastic players there. They've had they have Deebo Samuel there now. Mm-hmm. He's the only guy to ever do 700-yard game.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is incredible what Shanahan's been able to do with their offense, and
that's right.
We'll see. I'm very curious to see how Pearsall does there.
Yeah, me too. Because I think he might have been the best player in the draft that nobody knew much about before the draft. You know that? Mm-hmm. He really was. We'll take a break. One segment to go. Well, we'll talk a little baseball, and we'll wrap the program. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, Colton Cowser of the Baltimore Orioles is the betting favorite to win the American League Rookie of the Year. He is at minus 300. Luis Gil of the New York Yankees is plus 500. Austin Wells, also of the Yankees, is plus 600, while Wheeler Abreu of the Boston Red Sox is at plus 2,000. Over in the National League, Pittsburgh starter Paul Skeens is the betting favorite to win the NL Rookie of the Year. He's at minus 160. San Diego's Jackson Merrill is plus 120. Jackson Churio of the Milwaukee Brewers is plus 2,500 to win Rookie of the Year. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
911, what's your emergency?
Help, we don't have air conditioning.
Ma'am, 911 is for emergencies only.
Well, my husband's trying to stuff himself in the refrigerator.
I see. Well, maybe you should call Duck Air Conditioning.
To get him out of the fridge?
To get a new AC system.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Air Conditioning, Jacksonville area's AC experts. For service, repairs to new installations, trust the Duck. DuckDuckAC.com.
Hey, folks, if you're looking for an automobile, this summer, happiness is a brand new Chevy. Like a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $10,000 off a new Silverado. For well-qualified buyers, you can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 models. With the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. What a great deal that is. And ask about our demo models for even deeper discounts. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership, conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
Hicken here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
This is Keith Scott with Veterans Wholesale Cabinets. We are Northeast Florida's cabinet experts and your best option to elevate your home improvement project for both homeowners and contractors, and attention to detail to every project. VeteransWholesaleCabinets.com.
Lauren here to tell you about Mayport CNC Fisheries preseason football special. $5 off any 100-count bag or 30-pound box of oysters, all preseason long. Bring football season back like a local with Mayport CNC Fisheries in Atlantic Beach.
It's a Monday morning must.
We actually found it!
Yes. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the drill on 1010XL.
Summer is here, which means it's time for road trips and family vacations. Frank Frangie here. Before you hit the road, make sure your car can handle the heat with a visit to Big Chief Tire. Their expert technicians will ensure your vehicle can handle the summer heat, from tire checks to AC services. Avoid the stress of a breakdown and travel with confidence. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your summer checkup today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Lauren Brooks here. Circa Resort and Casino has an incredible all-in package for Duval in December. For only $500 tax and resort fee included, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. Join us Heels Friday night for a Jacksonville pep rally with specials and giveaways. To book the Jacksonville game day getaway and join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
For over 40 years, Play It Again Sports has served its customers with a winning, sustainable shopping model. Could say, we were recycling before recycling was cool. Save on quality used sporting goods for baseball, softball, lacrosse, hockey, golf, tennis, and more. Or sell us your gently used gear. We buy all sports, all seasons, and offer cash on the spot. Stop by Play It Again Sports today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainsports.com.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
The best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
One of the most important actions of training camp is securing the backup quarterback spot. To have a trustworthy and serviceable backup could save the season if Trevor were to go down. Here's Doug Peterson on the competition between Mac Jones and C.J. Beathard.
Yeah, I think it's been really close, honestly. The addition of Mac was great for that room, great for CJ. Both those guys have really embraced the challenge. We've been up front with both of them and explained exactly how camp was going to go. And, really both of them I think are within 3 or 4 reps of having 50-50, split right down the middle. So it's been good. It's been good competition.
Mac and CJ will continue to compete at Saturday night's game against the Bucs. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where we been today? We have gone around a little Jags Bucs talk. We got you ready. We told you what players we think for whom the game is very important tomorrow. Guys at the end of that roster trying to make the team. I kind of went through offensive line, wide receiver as far as the last wide receiver spot, defensive line, DBs, not starters or even backups, but guys on the roster. So we certainly talked about that as well. Hayes did his normal great job on headlines. We talked a little bit with Pete Prisco we went around the league a little bit with Pete. Who stood out, who hasn't, what people be watching. We talked a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons, Brandon Ayuk, a lot of football today on the program. That's the cool down. That is where we have. All right, as we wind down toward the end of the program, we talked a lot of football. We'll look forward to seeing you out at the ballpark tomorrow night. That'll be kind of fun. But I've got it, and I haven't seen the story yet, JJ, but I've gotten intrigued now with this 6-inning minimum for starting pitchers. JJ, I like it. I know you don't, but I think I like it. And I haven't seen the story. There's a story out about it, right?
There is, yeah.
I'll have you send it to me.
But
I think, I don't know how you do. I mean, look. I liked not having a shift anymore. Let's go back to not having a shift. I like some of the I like the pitch clock. Baseball is taking too long. Well, I don't like openers. This would get rid of the opener, which I hate. And I don't like every guy having to throw 100 miles an hour to even make it. And even though they said, I saw one story today, one piece of a story today, that said the genie's out of the bottle. You're never going to curb velocity no matter how you change the rules. JJ, I disagree a little bit. I think if starters have to go 6 innings, you're going to see guys throwing 93, not 99. Agree or disagree?
Totally disagree. You're never going to stop the competitive nature of, like, I got to be the fastest, I got to throw the hardest. It's not going to happen. it's crazy to try to like put so many rules on managers now. Like the shift, I still don't like that you can't tell guys where to stand. I mean, it's baseball. Listen, it's just because it's the same thing in the NFL with the kickoff. We have all these people who get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be on the rules committee. They have to justify why they even have a job. And so they do crap like, listen, if they have the starter have to go 6 innings, do you think all of a sudden so many people are just going to start watching baseball again? Like, no. Listen, baseball is great. It's a regional sport. It makes hundreds of millions of dollars. Keep it the way it is. Like, why do we have to constantly change every single thing? Like, to try to please millennials or Gen Z, they're not going to watch.
How do you feel about this? Could I disagree with him?
Like, Hays isn't going to watch whether it's 6 innings or not.
But how do you feel
cares?
How do you feel about it?
And JJ is correct. I'm not going to watch regardless. But I will say this: I like the idea. There's something romantic about baseball with the starting pitcher. That it's a horse and that it's somebody that you can count on going deep in a game. That used to mean something when there was, I'm talking about the 1980s and 90s when I was paying attention. But I do think baseball has lost some of that, and I think fans do gravitate towards a great starting pitching matchup, and if they know that those guys are gonna have to at least go 6. Then, I think it certainly can help the sport. I also think fans haven't embraced the opener. I mean, the opener just...
It's really not as... It's really not... Listen, I watch the Braves every single night. I could probably count on one hand how many openers we've had this year. It's not as common as people are making it think. Most teams have 5 starters, and they go every single night.
But I agree with that.
I don't like them telling a manager when he has to take a guy out, though.
Yeah, I do. And you know what else I like? I like the fact I do like it. And I tell you what else I like. And I got to learn more about it. But I also like the fact that a reliever's got to face 3 guys now, because I didn't like a reliever coming in for one guy. I didn't. I like the fact that you can't shift now, because I didn't like a bunch of infielders standing in right field. I didn't like it. So I don't think it's about going and getting Gen Z guys. I don't think that's what it's about. I think it's about making the game better. I think the 6th inning thing, the goal is to protect arms. I really believe, whether it happens, whether they do it or not, B, whether or not it works, I don't know that. I'm not smart enough to know that. But I do think there is a concern. There's too many damn Tommy John injuries.
So how would making guys pitch more?
I'll tell you.
Just because you think they're going to throw less hard?
Well, first of all, yes.
That's crazy to me.
B, there's a belief that this cutting back on pitching is not saving arms. Hayes, you read that story.
Right. We have about a decade of data on that now.
Yeah, that cutting back on innings is not saving is not saving arms, that may be conditioning, throwing more. And listen, forever, just because people have been throwing 100 miles an hour in the last 4 years doesn't mean they got it wrong the first 180 years. It doesn't. And I think the fact is, I do believe, just like everything they've done in baseball has seemed, not everything, but a lot of the changes they've made of late have been good changes. The pitch clock has made the game better. The making a reliever not be able to go, not just one reliever, in my opinion, has made the game better. Look, I don't like change either, but in my opinion, the sport was better 30 years ago than it is now. Maybe I'm an old guy, and that's why I feel that way.
Okay, well, 30 years ago, they didn't make a manager keep a guy in for 6 innings. Where's this 100 number?
Because they didn't have to. Because they already was in 6 innings.
100 pitches, by the way. You could take him out, or 4 earned runs. Who's coming up with these? 100 pitches means that then he's definitely tired. We can let him go out. Where are we coming up with these?
Let me start with the first thing you said. You said 30 years ago they didn't have to. Because
they don't have to now. The game is fine.
Number one, I don't agree, but that's okay. That's a different conversation. What they're trying to do is save, whether it's right or whether it works or not, they're trying to save elbows. Now, it may not work, but they're trying. Right now, the game is not fine if every third pitcher is getting operated on, and they're taking a ligament from a different part of his body and sticking it in his elbow.
Well, back in the day, those guys, their career was just over.
Yeah.
I mean, they come back in a year.
Yeah, but there wasn't.
It's just part of the game now, man. When guys would lose their elbow back in the day, it was a wrap on their whole career. It's not like guys didn't get hurt back then.
But it's the same thing with helmets in football. You're trying to make the game safer. And so And we'll see if it works. And I'm not smart enough to know 6 innings is going to solve all that, but it's a proactive way to try to solve it. You're trying to solve these elbow injuries, which don't need to be a part of the game. That's my take, JJ.
I don't
have to
think
be.
they have any evidence that shows hey, right at 100 pitches, this guy should be good. Like, where are they coming up? It's just an even number. It's 6 innings.
But I don't know.
Okay. So
I don't know the number. What I'm telling you is,
that's the number that they're coming out with.
Well, and my guess is that all gets tweaked. My point is, you have to do.
But who's
something.
to decide, though?
But hang on. You have to try and do something.
Why?
Because they're destroying their elbows. Kids are destroying their elbows
back
at 13.
in 2 years. Like, my point is, was there that many people that were not were pitchers not getting hurt back in the day, Frank? I find that very hard to believe.
They weren't. I can tell you they weren't. And I can tell you kids weren't blowing their elbows at 16 years old back in the day. I can tell you that.
They also believe it's going to generate.
I don't know if that's true. I'd love to see some type of scientific evidence.
They also believe it's going to generate more offense because obviously, pitchers are going to have to work around batters more. They're going to see them more. Through the lineup.
Yeah, they're going to get shelled because exactly. That's how stupid this is. Right. Everyone knows that when you face a lineup the third time through, you get shelled. So now we're just making them do that?
Wait a minute. For 100 years, you didn't just get shelled because it was the third time through.
Dude, we have stats forever that go back to say the third time through the order is obviously the worst time.
Forever?
Yes!
No, we don't.
Oh, my goodness,
you're
Frank, come on.
Bro, you're talking about the last 20 years, 30 years. No, you're not.
This is the most logical thing in baseball. The third time through the order, the hitters see the pitcher, they always hit better.
Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax
are the two of the greatest pitchers of all time, Frank.
I mean, Andy Messersmith, okay?
And
Pat
guess
Dobson.
what? You can look at the best pitchers of all time, and the third time through the order, they have a higher batting average against.
But they didn't
That's
come out
a fact.
But maybe a higher average against, but they weren't done. They weren't done. They didn't have to get yanked out of the game. Listen, we have to do something about the elbows.
So it's about the elbows.
Yes,
I don't believe that.
Well, you got to do something. JJ, you can't keep having, and I've been on this way before the 6 inning thing.
Okay, well, tell them to throw hard, not as hard. I don't know what. I'm not a medical expert, but this is changing the game completely, insanely.
They've been changing the game completely.
Dude, this is crazy. To make a starter have to stay in the game?
Again,
if he gives up 4 earned, he can come out. Obviously, if he's injured, he can come out, but he does have to go on the injured list to avoid manipulation.
My point is, whether it's 6 innings, whether it's some other mechanical something, we cannot keep having every hard-throwing pitcher or every third hard-throwing pitcher blow their elbow. They have to. It's the same as not concussions. That affects your life. I guess elbow doesn't affect your life. We cannot keep having guys blow their elbow. We can't. They have to find something to do where every guy doesn't just come out there and try and throw 102 miles an hour, and you count on them blowing their elbow in a month. You cannot do it. Someone's got to be done, whether it's 6 innings, and I'm passionate about that because I've seen it. I've seen 14-year-old kids do it. I've seen 15-year-old kids do it. There's too much Tommy John.
Okay, so what is that? What is changing the 6 innings in Major League Baseball going to do for a 14-year-old not throwing hard? I don't see that.
Let me try and answer that. Number one, I don't know that the 6 innings is the way to do it. Okay, I don't. I'm not smart enough to know. Well, I'll say it for the 10th time. If we get away from everything's got to be 100 miles an hour, then I don't think the 14-year-old kid is going to try to throw 100 miles an hour as much. I think kids follow the kid that's older, and that kid follows the pro, and I think we've got to change. It's no different than the Guardian helmet in football, bro. It's no different than not hitting quarterbacks. It's no different than everything we do to try. You have to do something about it. And listen, well before 6 innings, Hays, you've heard me scream into the mic about this. We've got to quit blowing elbows. If every third running back had an ACL, then we're doing something wrong. We're doing something wrong. We just are. And so hopefully,
and they want to see more balls in play.
Yes,
the league is very concerned that it's becoming a strikeouts, homers game.
Very, very concerned.
So they're also
so they want pitchers to be less good. We have to work 3 times through the order, like you even said it. That will get more runs. Right. That's a fact.
And which is okay. And by the way,
I don't love that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I know. By the way, I'm not saying you're right.
It's the same game we've had for 150 years. It's fine.
It's not. It's not the same game we've had for 150 years. It's totally different. And the velo has changed that significantly. So there you go. All right. We have a good spirited conversation. Let's get Rick Ballou in here.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
You like old school baseball better than now?
I like old school. I like bunting. I like moving the run along. I like playing for a run. But, Earl Weaver had success in the 70s playing for the 3-run homer.
Yeah.
Great starting pitching and a 3-run homer. But
so the thing that's on the docket is this you got to pitch 6 innings.
I think it's foolish.
And that's a silly rule. That's JJ's point is it sounds silly.
It does. If you get hammered,
Right. My point is we have to do something to keep these elbows getting blown out.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. These guys are getting bigger and stronger, and, weights got brought into it about, 30, 40 years ago, and now nutrition, and we're seeing arms that are getting wrecked. There's no doubt about that. But, I can't believe some of the stuff that I read that they're actually considering doing.
But did you like the shift? Getting rid of the shift?
The shift, I hate change, period.
Right.
I did like that.
How about the pitch clock?
I wasn't a fan of it initially, but I've grown with the pitch clock.
See, I think all of them have been good, and the truth is, people weren't watching baseball.
No, they're not watching baseball.
People are not watching baseball, so if it brings more of them back, so that's a good thing.
Sure, but 6, man,
that's a good conversation. They did good.
Look at I still read box scores every night. How many guys actually give you 6 innings?
Well, nobody.
Every night.
Yeah. There's that's
very few.
And I think the belief is, Hays said, it's more runs, and I think part of it is if you have to throw 6 innings, you're not going to try and throw 100 in the first inning.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to. the Justin Verlander thing.
Right.
What's coming up tonight?
I am
none
going
of that.
to. No, none of that tonight. But that will come up at some point because it is a very interesting conversation. There's no question about it. But I've really put a lot of thought into this year's camp. I think it was a very good camp. I think it was a very competitive camp. And I haven't done the 53 yet, but I'll tell you, this is one of the toughest. I'm at 48 right now. Those last 5 spots to me are incredibly grueling to try to figure out what this organization is going to do. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but what I'm really going to do is highlight the positive guys that I saw over the last 17 days and one preseason game, including what I think is the best part of it all, younger players who have improved. That's what I've noticed in this year's camp, and I'm really going to go through that among some other things. So I don't know if anyone else is, but I'm really fired up for it.
I am
okay,
too.
I'm fired up for myself about what I'm about to say. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm fired up for it.
I'm always fired up for you. Ballou, thanks. Ballou goes into the night. That'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere, though. Rick Ballou goes into the night. We are out of here tomorrow night at the Ball Yard. I can't wait. I look forward to Jags versus Bucs, 7:30, right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
The